Good morning. All right, time to watch me fumble around with this thing and try to make it work, but I'll do my best. So here we have a quick review of the demo that I did yesterday, but it's a little cleaner. This one is. So our current view, let's do the view from the sun first, and I'll post this to Google Classroom so you guys can play with it if you would like. So from the sun and from the earth, the moon looks the same. So we're going to run it. And then just like we showed yesterday, if you're looking at the earth or the moon from the sun, it just looks like it's spinning and it's always lit up. There's no phases. If I change my perspective to the earth, then you can see our lovely moon phases. The last thing is going to be somebody's perspective from a spaceship out here. And you can see that then things get a little weird. And I think I said this yesterday, and I think I was technically wrong that there wouldn't be phases if you were on a spaceship, because check it out. Now we have weird phases that do kind of that retrograde thing that you can observe in the planets, where the lit portion is shrinking, and then it's growing, and it's just behaving in a very odd way. So, yeah. That's not really super relevant, but I suppose it is just to underscore the idea that perspective would change the appearance of the moon, right? So these are the two that I want you to kind of primarily track. And obviously, since we live on the Earth perspective is the most relevant one. So cool. When you see these images, and you guys just made one on the worksheet yesterday, you got the Earth here in the center, and hopefully you can see that this is not really what happens, right? This is, again, from our perspective, when we look up at the moon, when it is between the sun and us, we see the new moon. And then as it revolves around us, we see these different phases become illuminated, right? But that this implies that the side facing the sun is shaded right here, which isn't what is happening. It's just what it looks like from our perspective. So let's do we're going to have a moon flipbook assignment today that's fairly direction heavy. So I'm going to go through that. But what we're going to try to do is keep track of both things at once. So let me explain what I mean by that. All right, so here are the big instructions for how to do this, and there are two different versions that you could possibly do. You could do a digital version or a hand-drawn version. If you have note cards, then I think the hand-drawn one would go just fine. What you do is create a template card and then use that to make this happen. And if you want to do the digital, it's kind of fun to do the digital, and you can end up making this thing, which is a GIF or a digital flipbook. And it shows what the moon is doing, right? So, and this is again getting at what I was saying. You've got my wife's watching something on Instagram or something. So you've got the moon revolving around the Earth, and half of it is lit at all times. But then here is the perspective that we see when we look up, or we look up and here is what we see, right? So you're keeping track of both things at the same time. You're tracking where the moon is around the Earth and what it looks like from our perspective. Right. So let's explain how to do that. And I'm going to go over the digital version because frankly, it's just a little bit more complicated than the paper-based version. But if you have questions, just shoot me an email and I will help you out with that. So here are all the directions. Note that if I scroll down here, there is an image bank that you can use. You can copy these things and then you can paste them into a drawing. So here we go. The first thing it says is create new drawing in Google Drawing. So I go File, New Drawing. And then we patiently wait. All right, I'm going to call this drawing Moon Phase 1. It doesn't really matter which phase you want to start on. I would probably do New Moon because it's what you've seen most of. It kind of makes the most sense, I suppose. So Moon Phase 1, enter. Then I go back to my, now I need to go down to that image bank. So I grab the sun, and I guess you guys might need to make a copy of this to be able to edit and grab the images. So, but just Control C this or Command C, and then come over here, and there's your sun. So you just go about making yourself a copy of what you see in the example on the start of the instructions. You got your sun, you got your earth, and then I also put this little box up here to keep track of, again, this is what we see when we look up at the moon, and make that so it's not shaded. Transparent? We'll go with white. Yep, looks pretty good. And then I'm gonna grab this moon right here. Why am I gonna grab that moon? Well, this moon has the half facing the sun illuminated and the half facing away from the sun dark. So that's gonna be a good little moon that I can use to show our little moon cruising its way around the Earth. All right, so if we're here and we're looking at the moon right now, what are we gonna see? We're gonna see the dark side of the moon. So I take that, and that is what I'm gonna put up in this box. Hooray. So when you do yours, you just need to label what the phase is right here. So this would be new moon. And I think that's it. I don't think that I ask you to label anything else, because this is the format, right? You're showing what we see here, and then you're showing where the moon is around the Earth to produce this image or this phase. All right, so phase one, done. That's new moon. What I do now is I make a copy of this thing. Moon phase two. My computer sounds like it's going to explode. It's being overworked. Yikes. Come on, buddy. All right, so you're going to have to do this 8 different times. And each time you do it, you're going to take your little moon and you're going to drag it an 1/8 of a way around the Earth. So a quarter would be right there, and that would be first quarter. But you want to do waxing crescent, so that's going to be, you know, it's probably not going to be perfect. But what we're trying to do is keep the distance that the moon is from the Earth the same, and then move it approximately an 1/8 of a turn. Nice. So I've done that here. Now I need to think, okay, what does the moon look like when I look up at it from the Earth? And you go back to your image bank, and you're like, well, there's just a little sliver that has appeared, and that is the waxing crescent. So I copy that thing, and I make sure that I'm modifying moon phase 2, and I delete that, and I paste this, and then I change this to waxing crescent. Maybe I could change the text box just a little bit. All right. Now I make a copy of that, and I start moon phase 3. Great. So do that 8 times. Then you want to go back to all of your different moon phases, and you would like to download a JPEG. Download JPEG. Moon phase 1 JPEG. And then you go to moon phase 2. Download a JPEG. Okay, so you do this for all 8 images once you're done. Obviously, I'm shortcutting the whole process because I don't want to make a 25-minute video doing the whole thing. And so once you have 8 different JPEGs for 8 different moon phases, then you go to this fun thing. And this is an animated GIF maker. So all you need to do is go upload and make a GIF. And you just say, I think I hit the wrong button, but you say choose files, and then you go and you point to all 8 of your files. So you need to select all 8 of them. Let's say that they're these things, which they're not. These are some surfboard things. So I click open, and then they're gonna upload to this program, and then the program is gonna make you a GIF. So I think this part should be fairly straightforward. Once you get them downloaded and upload them into the GIF maker, they'll show you your images here, and then you make a GIF with them. And I guess this is gonna be a surfboard GIF. All right, there we go. So obviously yours is not gonna look like this, but that's how you do it. Email me if you have questions, and jolly good day. How do I stop this thing?